Good morning. It's Lisa with Lisa Heal Yourself, and today we are going to talk about moving forward in 2022. What are we going to do to protect ourselves moving forward? What actions can we take to combat everything going on, to stay safe, to get healed, to feel like it's totally possible that the world is moving in a different direction, and to help with the Great Awakening rather than this Great Reset? I want to confess something today. So, since Christmas time, things have really sort of gone downhill for me. Not health wise, but emotions. I can feel my emotions. I can feel things hurting more. I can feel um, me feeling sadder and being drawn down into lower vibrations. I'm aware and I'm tuned in to what's happening. And I'm tuned into the wrongs that are happening in the world. And I'm tuned into the worries that are happening. And I'm tuned into the catastrophes and the oh no, what are we going to do's? Because there's so much going on, right? We have a war right now. We have all the geopolitical stuff going on around that. If you think you know what's going on in the war, you don't. There is so many levels and layers to this thing that it's almost impossible for us to stay up on top of everything. And even if we are, to be able to keep our hearts and souls intact, right? It's hard to rest an entire war on your shoulders. Humans aren't meant to do that. Just as it's hard to rest an entire pandemic on our shoulders and all the information about the World Economic Forum and the next pandemic, where healthcare is going and where digital ID is going and where digital currency is going. There's so much going on that it almost seems conspiratorial like. And if you haven't done your research, I'm not here to wake you up. If you don't understand what's actually happening and what's at stake, that's not my job. I can't rest it on my shoulders anymore because it's pulling me down. So I've spent almost nearly every minute of every day when I'm not with my family researching, digging, finding out all the intricacies of what's happening, where we're going. Behind each layer, something else new gets exposed that I knew of, but I wasn't aware and I wasn't necessarily terrified of. And as I've gotten into this, it is really scary and it's overwhelming and it's too much. It's too much on my shoulders. It's too much on your shoulders. It's too much on anyone's shoulders to have the responsibility to self-protect yourself against a greater power. It's also really, really difficult to be the person or to feel like you have to be the person to wake other people up, to show other people. It's a lot of responsibility, and most likely you're not going to be able to wake anyone else up. Each person comes down this path at their own pace, at their own journey, and because of their own histories and their own experiences. You okay? You okay? Somebody is going to be further down. Somebody's going to know more. And so I made it my job to know everything so that I would know and I would have the answers. And when someone asked me, I would have the data, I would have the statistics, I would know the history, with everything going on surrounding this vaccine. And I feel I'm very, very well versed. And it's not something I can share on this channel because, of course, we all know the censorship, everything going on at plan, and the censorship is scary. And it's not something I want to get my channel removed for. So it's not something I openly discuss, but I want to know it all and I want to be aware of it. And the reason I do is to protect and self-protect myself from having what happened to me ever happen again, from having what happened to me ever happening to somebody I love, my kids, anyone else. But it's a lot of responsibility and it's a lot of weight, right? It's a weight on our shoulders. It's weight on our hearts. It's weight on our minds to think, I love this person. They need to know this. And if I can't help them know it, they might get hurt. And because I know firsthand, because I have experience, and because I know the full terror and horror of what could happen, because I know that, I can never unknow that, right? I can never unhave that experience. And a lot of people don't have that unless they go through something firsthand. But for those of us who do, or for those of us who see it in other areas, who are very tuned into your finances, who've been investing for a long time, who understand the market and the crashes and what wars do to it and what this pandemic can do to it and what digital currency and digital ID and all of these different things can do to finances. You might be totally tuned in a different way, and you might see it from a different angle. Things on a national scale. What about things on a global scale? What about all this new digital ID? What about transhumanism, right? So there's all these things that I've been looking into, and it is overwhelming. It is scary. And when you get deep enough into it, you almost feel like you can't breathe because the powers, the money, and the plan is really to circumvent nature, to circumvent God, to circumvent the Creator, to circumvent our own free will and our own soul. So if you don't believe me, or you're not aware of the Great Reset yet, or you don't have all the information, go look at their website, go read Klaus Schwab's book, The Great Reset, The Great Narrative. And if you want to just watch something for 5 minutes, a 5-minute video clip, this may be one of the scariest speeches I've ever heard. So if you want to see, if you just want to see it in plain day, I want you to go, I've written down his name. His name is Yuval Noah Harari. That's Yuval Noah, Noah, and Harari, Harari. I don't know if this is available on YouTube. It may have been banned on there. It may have been taken down already. But you can go onto other sites like Rumble, or other free speech video platforms, and you can pull this down. Okay, I want you to pull down his speech that he gave to the World Economic Forum on February 25th. So you're looking for a clip coming from February 25th, 2022. It was one of the scariest speeches I've ever heard, because he does talk that we are at a time in evolution where science can now dictate evolution going forward, not by natural selection, but by intelligent design, by his intelligent design, by the intelligent design of the World Economic Forum. And who this guy is he's the top advisor to Klaus Schwab. But he basically says that human beings are hackable now, and that God and spirit and your soul is irrelevant. And they would like basically to have control over everything you think, say, and do. I don't want this video to be taken down, so these are my own personal thoughts. I feel that what could be leading and making this possible as a first step is these making everyone get one. The second step would be the ID, the digital ID. And the third step is the digital currency. Because once we're tied financially, and once our ID is tied financially to technology, if they don't like something you do, say, or think, or you're not complying in a certain way that is set up through the agenda, they have complete control of you, your surroundings, your ability to move freely in the world, to even your financial ability to spend money. And it's so terrifying. And this speech was one of the most terrifying speeches that I had ever heard. So if you want to listen to that, you can go check that out yourself. There's plenty of sources, okay? There's plenty of sources for you to research this, and this is going to be coming out. The dangers are going to be coming out. And I only hope that, everybody finds this information and everybody can protect themselves from further damage going forward. It is not my job anymore to warn anybody, even to warn the ones I love most in my family, who are on board, who don't realize, who do think that they are safe and effective. So I'm not saying they're not safe and effective. What I'm saying is go do your research. You need to know about before you make an informed decision, that we should all be able to know about before we make informed decisions, is out there. It's out there for everyone to see. It's coming out, and it's available. So I don't want to spend my time anymore. I already know what's true. It is, and it has become so overwhelming to me. So what I wanted to talk about today was your health. So when we're healing a chronic illness, when you are trying to heal your chronic illness, we all know that healing starts in the mind, okay? Healing always starts in the mind and the soul and your belief system. And if you are going to be saying, I'm so overwhelmed, I'm so scared, I'm fearful, I don't think I'm ever going to heal, this is too much, it's too overwhelming, I'm too far gone, I will never heal. If you say that, you will never heal. So we all know when it comes to healing that we have to break that, even if we believe it, even if there's truth to it, and even if it's our greatest fear, and even if we don't possibly see another way out. If we continue to say that and to feel that and sit in that vibration and believe and feel that it's over for us, that we can't pull ourselves out, that we cannot heal, that we're doomed, if we continue to say that and repeat that over and over and let that feeling live in our heart, it is not only going to be impossible for us to heal, right? We have to be able to override that and say it is totally 100% possible that not only can I heal, but I can be 100% healed, that I can be 100% better, that I can be totally amazing in my life, that I can do everything I ever wanted to. I can get my mind, body, heart, soul, physical sensations and symptoms and my life and everything surrounding this back on track, that I can do this, that it's possible for me, that it's possible. And that not only is it possible, but it's probable. And not only is it probable, but I'm never going to give up until I do heal. And when we start saying those messages to ourselves, the energy starts to move forward. We start to move forward to an energy of I can, I will, I heal. We start to have a more expansive energy. We expand, we raise our vibration, and we raise our truth. We raise what we believe. We raise our ability to believe it. So I always go back to the 4-minute mile. Nobody had ever run a 4-minute mile, never in the history of humans. Everybody thought it was impossible. Somebody one day ran a 4-minute mile. He ran it. And not only did we think that that was humanly not possible, but the minute he did it, within weeks, we had many, many, many people also doing it. And we continue to have people breaking that record over and over and over and over. Once you believe it, and once we see and we start to believe that somebody's broken that threshold, and if they can do it, I can do it, it becomes possible. And once we believe something's possible, anything is possible. So healing always starts in the mind when it comes to your own chronic health conditions. But healing for the entire world also begins in the mind. And I have forgotten that over the past months because I've been living in doom. I've been living in gloom. I've been living in these forces are more powerful than me. I'm never going to be able to stop this Great Reset. I'm never going to be able to stop a mass vaccination program. I'm never going to be able to stop a digital ID. I'm never going to be able to stop a financial crash, a digital financial currency. I'm never going to be able to stop a war on the other side of the world. I'm never going to be able to stop a moving, rich, powerful, elite billionaires who are part of the World Economic Forum and even part of the deep, deep, deep state. I am never, ever going to be able to expose these or stop them with the limited power and money and finances and resources that I have. And when you sit in that feeling of hopelessness and despair and overwhelm and fear and negative energy, well, we know what happens to our own bodies when we're trying to heal our health. What's going to happen? We're not going to be able to stop that agenda. We're not going to be able to cause the Great Awakening rather than the Great Reset. We're not going to have any power to do that unless we start to say, it's totally possible. It is totally possible that this is going to become the Great Awakening rather than the Great Reset. It's totally possible that more and more people are going to be given access to this information, that more and more people are going to start seeing it on their own, to start waking up on their own in masses. It's more and more, it's possible. It's possible that more and more people are going to start to question, are going to start to look into what's going into their own bodies, are going to start to see what digital control and transhumanism and what's happening on a global level. More and more people are going to see this. And as more and more people join together, and as more and more people begin to awaken, and as more and more people begin to know that they have sovereignty over their own body, their thoughts, their feelings, and that their soul that lies within them is so important, is the most important thing, and that it's more powerful than any of the great elite billionaires across the world. I am you, you are me. Everything is possible. Everything does come from source, does come from the one. We are all connected in infinite, powerful ways that are more powerful than nature and this world, this earth, our water, our nature, everything about it here on planet Earth is more powerful than even the greatest elite with the most money on planet Earth. And so when we start to believe in possibilities, when we start to say it's not only possible that this is the beginning, the verge of the Great Awakening, of people coming together, of souls and vibrations raising, of people taking back and claiming their own power and knowing what's possible, and love and spreading love and light and peace across the world, right? That we are free, that we're free beings, that we belong to source, we belong to the universe, we belong to God. When we start to believe that this is not only possible, this moment in time in history, but it's probable. And not only is it probable, but it's inevitable. And when we start to believe that it's inevitable, we start to live from a place of possibility and growth and happiness and joy and love and peace and freedom. And we start to live from this place. We start to live from this energy, from this vibration, because we know that we're part of that energy moving things forward. And we start to believe, when we start to be aware that our job isn't to expose and isn't to feel overwhelmed and live in fear of everything that's happening. But when we start to live in possibility, that because of everything that's happening, it is leading to the most amazing revolution of our time. And it is not the technological revolution. It is not transhumanism. It is not living in the metaverse. It is the evolution of the human soul, of this human spirit, of love, of oneness, of coming together, of connection, of power, of great personal freedom and power and liberty and hope and love and light, right? So this could be, because of everything going on, it could lead to the possibility of everything we've ever wanted, not only for ourselves, not only for our children, and for the world. And we have the power, when we start to live in that mindset, to create it. Just as when we start to live in the mindset that we can heal ourselves, that we can become our own healers, that we can heal our bodies, that we can heal anything that needs to be healed, that we are not broken, that we are powerful beyond measure, that every answer that we need lies inside us. And it is totally possible that we can find it. It's probable, and it is inevitable that we are going to heal ourselves when we live in this possible energy. And that's what we need to do on planet Earth now. And I've been living in the wrong energy. I've been living in the energy I lived in for years before I started to heal. The energy of hopelessness, the energy of helplessness, the energy of victimhood, the energy of anger, the energy of fear, the energy of this is too hard, this is too much, I'm not strong enough, I'm not good enough, I don't know enough, and I'm a victim. How could I possibly do something like this? How could I possibly heal? And this is the same energy I found myself slipping into, living from in my own life in regards to what's happening with the world. And so I I want to stop that because it is totally possible, even after listening to that speech that I know you're going to look up and I know you're going to hear. And even after catching your breath from listening to it, feeling the fear go through your body, that it is going to, things like this, speeches like this are going to awaken people in a way that we can't possibly imagine. And when people are awakened, when they are living from truth and light, when their souls awaken, when they're moving from a power and a place of love and light and truth and connection with each other, then the greatest thing can happen in this planet. And maybe we can leave all the geopolitical tension behind us. Maybe we can leave the wars. Maybe it's possible that we can leave the fights and the judgments and the criticisms, and we can leave the anger and the fear and the resentment and the shame and the guilt and the overwhelm and the victimhood and everything behind us. And we can start to stand fully in our own presence, in the presence of our own soul and someone else's soul, the souls that are connecting all across this earth, the souls that are going to elevate us to a higher consciousness. This is why we came here to earth. We didn't just magically wake up one day, in this time and space on this earth. It wasn't random. We're here. Your soul is here because it's needed here right now. Your soul decided to come to this time, this place, in this moment, out of all the billions of years of evolutionary history, here right now, because you are needed here right now. You are needed here right now. And when your soul awakens to what it is here to do and who it is here to become, then anything's possible. The Great Awakening is not only possible, but it's inevitable. And yes, it can get overwhelming. And yes, it can get scary. And yes, we can have our moments, just as we do when we're healing, just as we fall down day after day. But we must pick ourselves up and begin to have hope, to live from a point of possibility, and then go in the direction that you know you need to go and humanity needs to go. That all things are possible because you have God in you. You have every part of source, every part of the universe inside you. And when we believe it and when we move from that space, anything's possible. And so we don't need to spend our time waking up the world because we're fearful that if they don't wake up, it'll be too late. We need to spend our time moving in this world like it's possible, it's probable, and it's inevitable. And when we do, more and more people will awaken, more and more people will join, because one thing I do know, all throughout history, all throughout life, goodness always wins. Truth always prevails. Light always wins. We have our moments, right? We've had our moments throughout history where darkness, evil forces, these types of things threaten goodness, threaten humanity, threaten the light, threaten truth. But they can never stay forever because the light is so much stronger than darkness, always. In every story, in every movie, in every event throughout history, truth and light and love has prevailed. And it will prevail here, and I want you to be a part of helping it prevail. Don't prevent it. Don't prevent yourself from healing, and don't prevent the world from awakening or healing. So we're going to move forward, and we're going to start to learn what we can do to protect ourselves against what's going on in the world, what we can do to protect our health, our families, our finances. What things do we need to put into place on all the areas of our life, right? Self-sustainable, how can we grow our own food? How can we stock up? What can we do with our finances? How can we prepare for a crisis, prepare for a war, prepare for, this agenda, but then know that we're prepared, know that we're safeguarded, and continue to live in the world as an example of love and peace and light, and to live as the example of a great awakened being and a great awakened soul. So yes, I want you to start looking at the Pfizer data as it's being released, as it's coming out. There's going to be so many people breaking down this data. You need to look into this. You need to see what's happening. You need to open up your eyes in all the different sectors. And once we know, once we are confident, once we are awakened to what's happening with the Pfizer data, what's happening with the passports, what's happening with the digital ID, what's happening on a greater scale, what's happening with the censorship, what's happening with the corporations and the governments, what companies are coming in, who's the powerful people, who are the elites behind this, what do they want, what's the agenda moving forward with the digital currency, how can we protect our finances, how can we protect our families, how can we protect our safety and our well-being of everyone we love moving forward. Because yes, we have to be prepared and ready. Just like when you're healing yourself, you prepare yourself by doing the basics of your health and your supplements and your diet and your lifestyle. You do what needs to be done. But if you're doing it and every day saying, I'm not going to be able to heal, that's not going to heal you. So yes, there's steps that we have to take and we're going to take them. We're going to take actions for each sector. We're going to pandemic proof and future proof our life from the things that could be coming, from that great big conspiracy theory that could be true. We want to protect against it. And then we need to continue to say to ourselves every day, I don't believe it's going to come. We as a humanity are going to heal. We are going to rise above this. Truth is going to come. Light is going to come. Love is going to come. We're going to be safe. We're never going to need this stuff. We're going to put it into place. We're going to be okay. We are going to be okay. Humanity is going to be okay. We need to start to live from that space and place and spread that. And we do need to safeguard. So we're going to do both. We're going to move forward. We're going to protect our health, our finances, our homes, our families, our social connections. We're going to protect ourselves, our identity, our citizenship, everything that we need to look into to protect ourselves from what could be coming. And we're going to do that to the best of our ability. We're going to lay a foundation for what you can do, what actions you can take. Once those are in place, then you can live your life as an example to the world of what is possible. And when enough people do that, it will become inevitable. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you do, give it a like, subscribe, share it around. Please look that video up. Please do your own research. Be aware. Don't sit in the feeling of fear. And I will see you in the next video.